payment processing systems. Um,
Two thoughts. A lot of building in the last 10 years that's sold to us as convenience is to mask the laziness that is in the business ecosystem. Um, and secondly, the hyper concentration of mega monopolies. Amazon's been a stock picking stock club forever, so they'll be fine. Everything is risk on. We can talk about that later. But it's not much innovation in terms of the infrastructure. Even in the data center build, most people are priced out of that. We're looking
mhm.
at there's going to be for real 6 or 7 companies that run America and Europe and parts of Australia for the next 20 or 40 years because they built a legal monopoly. And you can argue at some points due to partnership and circular investment. Each other so that they can then survive the flood that is coming in the marketplace.
Yeah, I think there's a out of those Mag Seven, maybe not Tesla. If there's a disruption in any of those companies, you're going to see the entire world be affected.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like if that happens to Nvidia, if there's something that happens in the in that's going to affect the world. TSM that's going to affect the world. And I would
Absolutely.
put instead of Tesla, I'll put TSM in there. If something happens to something, it's going to affect the world,
Mm-hmm.
right? With CrowdStrike, why we saw the company pull back was a few of their clients were saying, "Hey, maybe this isn't the best alternative for us."
Mm-hmm.
Right? Maybe it is a Fortinet. Maybe it is a Zscaler. Right? Maybe we should look at other options. With Amazon, they're so dominant and they have so much infrastructure already.
Yeah.
You're gonna deal with the
So much
delay,
brand equity. Yeah, you're gonna deal
right?
with it.
And
Yep.
tomorrow you'll be using AWS.
Yep. And there is no alternative. You can argue CrowdStrike, even though it's best in class. There are competitors that are comparable. Amazon has no comp. They're a once in a generation company. They are a Ford or IBM of the 80s, a Standard Oil of the 1950s. They are once in a lifetime. So they have no nearest um, competitor. I love Azure, but it's not AWS.
Yeah, it's half of the percentage of market share,
Okay,
and that's Microsoft.
let's talk about Bitcoin, shall we? Let's show this clip actually.
And, I'm still bullish on Bitcoin. In the fourth quarter, seasonally, Bitcoin strong, but now we have the Fed flipping dovish after being essentially hawkish all year. That's a tailwind for Bitcoin. So I think Bitcoin gets to 200 to 250,000 by the end of the year. And that aligns with Mark Newton's technical targets.
Okay, Tom Lee.
Shout out to Tom Lee.
If you're not familiar who Tom Lee is, Bitcoin bull, somebody that's been he's always bullish on Bitcoin, but a very intelligent person. He says that he sees Bitcoin getting to $250,000 by year end. So there's only 2 months in a year. Bitcoin is currently at $110,000, so that would be over 100% increase in 75 days. He also said in an unrelated, well, and later on in that conversation that he sees Ethereum not now, but
Not now. Yeah.
getting to $60,000. Um,
Wow.
But he's always been a bull. Like I said, Tom Lee's always been he's been a Bitcoin bull for years. So $250,000 in the next 75 days, is that something that
Troy, you
You know
want
what?
to lead? And then I'm gonna come in
Yeah,
with a hot
I'll
take.
say this. I'll say this. That is very lofty. And so I'll use the historical data, right? Based on Bitcoin's halving cycles, the first year after a halving cycle is usually the best year, right? So, uh, um, 2012 first halving cycle, 2013 being the next year, Bitcoin was up 7,000%, right? 7,000%.
Mhm.
2016, so this is every 4 years, right? So we're from 2012 to 2016. In 2017, Bitcoin was up 291%. 2020, right? That's the next cycle. 2021, the year after, Bitcoin was up 541%, right? So these are huge jumps. 2024, we had halving last April. So this year, we are now up 44% this year.
Mhm.
Now, if we play the law of averages, if we get up to maybe 90 to 100%, that would take us to about 147,000 to 150,000 for Bitcoin. If the law of averages play out at about 100% return. So when we looked at our price points, and this, we kind of been given this predictive number of 140. I know Ian, you had 150. We were in the same range,
Yeah.
150, 140. I can see it there. I can see it there based on how it's performed historically after the year of having. We've seen a great gain. I see it in that landscape. 250, I'm just not sure how we calculate that. Now, I know he said that the Fed was hawkish, right? There was supposed to be maybe no rate changes. We got one already, and now they're
Mhm.
saying there's two more. I mean, there's only 3 months left in the year, right? Well, 2 months left in the year. We got one in September. We'll see what happens here in October. So now November, December, the only 2 months left. I don't know how we get to that level. I just
Yeah.
don't. I can't see it. But Tom Lee is he's been right not just in Bitcoin. He's been right about the S&P. He's been right about the Dow. He's been right about the Nasdaq. He is super bullish in the market. I don't see it.
Yeah, I like Tom Lee a lot. Great lesson is in assets that are determined to go up, it's better to be bullish in it than bearish. Um, with that being said, I don't see 250. 154, 490, I can see. But you don't have to take my word for it. I want you to go on a LLM, GPT or Claude or Perplexity, act as a world-class investor. Tell me the 10 scenarios in which Bitcoin will go from where it is now at 110 to 250, and what geopolitical events would have to happen in order for the market to run that high. That's the thought exercise I want you guys to do tonight. Also, too, it's November. Client money is coming in. So if you say, I think Ethereum
Mhm.
is going to 10K while having a fund based around Ethereum, you got to sell a big picture. Going back to, is the media selling you what you want to hear, or is it selling you fear? So you can sell extreme optimism, or like the other side is Robert Kiyosaki every other week saying the market is going to crash and it keeps going up, right? You have to be mindful. I love Tom a lot. 250 for Bitcoin by end of year? No. Can I see 250 next year? Yes. Also, if they were not moving in pace with the market, when it was actually detached before the institutions came in and had a mass adoption phase and took it over, I could see a run up of that nature. But unless China, our government, and all hedge funds go risk on more so than they are already, it's going to be tough to get to 250 by Christmas. It's going to be really tough. Impossible. Next year, I can see it though.
Yeah, but that's not. I mean, the the bright side is that if we're talking about it getting to 145, 150, I mean, it's at 110 now. So you're talking
Yeah,
about a double-digit gain from today's date, which is,
mhm,
I mean, good investment.
for sure.
I'd say so in 2 months.
For sure. Hmm.
That's how we got to look at it.
Yeah.
I mean, you just gotta look at Bitcoin as if you believe in it, that you just gotta hold it long term. I think is doing yourself a disservice if you're trying to play a short game of seeing how much it's gonna go up in 3 months or 1 month, or if you really believe it. Like Jack Dorsey tweeted that Bitcoin is not crypto.
I saw that.
Riddle, riddle me that. So I think from what I got from that, you don't. It's not. It's not tradable. It shouldn't be trading it. You shouldn't be trying to, do a play for a week and see if we can get like if you really believe in Bitcoin, if you really believe that it's a transformational monetary system that's really
Mhm.
going to change the world, that's really the future, that really is just the beginning, that's going to be here for another 200 years and really change human civilization. I don't think that you just treat it like how much money you can make in 2 months.
Also, too, to your point, if you hold it for 3 months or 4 months, you're going to see tremendous gain in it. It's one of the few assets where you can hold for a long period of time and make an incredible long-term return. But if you hold it
Yeah.
from where it is now to a 2-month cycle, you're going to beat the indexes.
I think that we're all
You
saying
can
the same
get
thing, right?
28 to 30% in the
Yeah.
2 or 3 month cycle. So, like, if you don't believe in it, you can't argue with the math and data of it.
But even if it hypothetically, because all right, we talked about it going up, it could go down. Let's
Mhm.
say let's say it goes down, right? But if you believe in Bitcoin, you got to believe that it's going to go up eventually
Mhm.
over time. So even if it takes the opposite and something catastrophic happens and the Bitcoin price actually drops from now to January, well, you still have to think that in 5 years you're gonna it's gonna be way higher
Yeah, shit, 9 months.
than
Yeah,
than
you're
it
right.
is now.
Yeah. Oh. Oh.
Yeah, yeah. Worst case 99,371 is where it could drop to. Absolute worst case scenario. That's what I would want to buy. I really like 106. Price hit for Stock Club. Shout out to everybody who got in and already is up on that. But we should be pushing back into the 130s by end of year. 150s January or February. Just hold for the long term. Like, investing is a lot easier. Someone asked me this weekend, like, even if I don't have the capital, I need to take the money out of the market, should I continue to hold? I'm like, yes. Because the reason why we didn't have a lot of capital, because they kept this information away from us to hold for a long period of time, so you can get to a point where you never have to worry about the short-term money concerns. Hold. I'm begging you to hold.
Um, okay. Speaking of that, gold. Let's talk about gold. Keeps going up.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best performing assets of the year. It's just breaking new records every day. It seems like it hasn't slowed down. It hasn't had a pullback. Over $4,100.
Insane.
And
Was that 40, 43?
Yep. 43,
Yeah, 43.
83, 80. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
43,
so
84. Yep.
one thing that Mike Novogratz said, he said he thought it was going to go to 10,000. That was in before this year, last year,
Mm-hmm.
we said with him, and he said that gold's gonna go crazy. He said that like in September of 2024,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like, how far you think it can go?" He said it's gonna go to $10,000. He didn't say exactly when or how long it's gonna take.
Yeah.
He said that he's gonna go to $10,000, and his rationale was as long as the governments keep printing money, and as long as he said Trump has a history of spending money. And he was like, if history repeats, that's before Trump got into
The
office.
office. Yep.
So he was saying, hypothetically, if Trump wins the election, government spending is going to go up, not down. And as long as government spending goes up, then the dollar is going to decrease. And that means gold and Bitcoin is going to go up. And man, he hit that nail on. He
On
hit
the head. Yeah.
everything that he said was completely right because if we're spending money, the dollar has gone down at historic levels. Gold is at an all-time high. Bitcoin is going up. It hasn't gone up to that level which you would have thought as yet
Mm-hmm.
of this year, but we still got some more time.
I mean, it
But
hit its all time high.
yeah, then it came
It
down.
came down.
But gold, how far can this thing actually go?
I don't see it slowing down anytime soon. My next target for gold is 4,800, and then after that we'll probably push to 52, 50 and some change. The reason why, though, like, the entire world is risk on, meaning everyone's trying to get gains out of everything. But if you look at the general economy, the job market, instability within banks, geopolitical fighting internationally and inside of the country, there's a lot of things that are going wrong, and you're going to have to watch to see which one turns over first, because everything can't continue to rise at this rate without it being some disaster. I don't want a crash to happen, but I will say things have not been managed well in the country the last few years. So there will be a correction at some point. And if you go back to Ray Dalio's all-weather strategy, even though his real formula isn't in Money Master the Game, one of the core tenets of it is to hold gold as a hedge. But I'm really curious as to how long it's going to take before this market turns over. Once we break 5,000 though, which should be pretty soon, that is going to be a sign of it'll definitely be a warning sign of what's to come. I don't think that gold is going to slow down anytime soon. Should you have in your portfolio, we've talked about this a bunch of times. Keys has talked about it, but just since 2019, gold was at 1,200. Is now almost at 5,000. That would tell you how much more risk, and going back to debt to GDP, how much more debt and money has been spent. That is one of the main reasons why. And also, too, since we came off the gold standard, the value of the dollar has dropped incredibly. Inflation is going higher, and it's not going to stop anytime soon. And like Rashad, like you said, they're not going to, even though they're not doing quantitative easing how they did post-Obama, there's still a lot of spending in states and in the nation that won't slow down anytime soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be a lot.
And my last point,
Yeah.
they are making it two classes. You're either going to be broke, and they're going to push you out of being able to invest in the assets, or you're going to invest alongside them and make tidal waves in your lives financially. Like, if you look at how the government is spending, even the investment into Intel, that's very telling that for the first time in history that the president's office is so open about investing and tweeting out what to invest in and how much crypto is going to go up. But most people have been priced out of the assets. I'm just looking at the run up of gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Nvidia. If you were 2 years late, you may be paying 200% more just to get into the same asset class.
So do you buy gold now, or do you just say, I missed it?
You gotta wait for a pullback. I can give a price next week if you like. But I think as a hedge, it should almost be mandatory, maybe 10 to 20% of your portfolio. If you have been listening the last few years,
20%?
10 to 20%, for sure.
Of your overall portfolio, sir?
Yeah.
It's tricky. Not that, because, I mean, we talk about, we had this conversation like before we started the show, but a couple of things, right? Everything that we just said, that was just expressed, I'm with y'all. I agree with it. In fact, this makes it even more of a case why you see Bitcoin continue to rise from where it's at now, right? And it is this follow theory that they have with gold and Bitcoin, right? Usually, as we see gold appreciate, we'll start to see Bitcoin appreciate. Gold has been on a run, continue to be on a run. Bitcoin hit an all-time high and pulled back, but those type of scenarios make it favorable as to why people will continue to invest in Bitcoin. But this idea of risk and fear, it almost feels very calculated. And we had this conversation Friday. He called me. He's like, "Yo, what are you looking at?" I'm like, "Yo, something's not right. Something's not adding up." Right? When I look at the VIX and I see it get to 27 or 25, usually historically when we see the VIX start to rise at those numbers, mid-20s up to 30s, we see a harsh pullback in the market. Right? If you look at it, I mean, pick a time. Right? We saw in April was at 59, and we saw what happened with the market. But the market was up 100. Well, the Nasdaq was up 112 points on Friday.
Because everybody's risk on. No, everyone's throwing out a rule.
I'm building a case for you to talk about risk on.
Yeah.
So, and then you look at the fear and greed index, and that's at 25, right? And then most people think in their mind when people are fearful, be greedy, and when people are greedy, be fearful. And so you have those two factors. Then you have this idea of, hey, this constant, there's a crash coming, there's a crash coming, there's a crash coming. You almost put people in this position where they become fearful to be a part of it. Meanwhile, institutions are running and running and running and running. And if you've watched the market over the past 2 weeks, for sure, just on a daily basis, it's been volatiles. There's ups, there's downs. There hasn't been any steady flow, and it feels like something's supposed to happen, but something's not happening, right? So you said this that everybody's risk on. So just unpack that a little bit.
Everyone is risk on, meaning like everyone's not following a playbook. Everyone's trying to maximize gains, and it's in every sector. Altcoins, crypto, tech. I'm getting more messages about rare earth minerals because everyone's looking at how quickly the market is going up, and you don't want to be left out. The downside of that is you have to know which asset classes and what groups they're marketing to be the liquidity for those events. So the government and institutions, and I'm going to be very honest, most institutions don't care if you do well or not, as long as they do well. We're seeing it now. You even seeing it within certain countries using pages out of our playbook against us. I want to tell you, stick to your plan through and through. Even like when I came up with Tech 2 Index, the indexes were the hedge against drawdown if we went down. But now people aren't following price, when to get in, asset class, because they think everything is going to run up 30 to 45%, and that's not the norm. Only the quality assets are supposed to do that. So when you see gold at a high, VIX pushing up, Bitcoin, Ethereum at our highs, Apple hit an all-time high today, everyone's trying to get the most out of the market and not prepared for. I asked someone today, okay, if the market drops 10%, 20%, 18%, are you prepared to know which assets to continue to buy and which ones to get rid of? They're like, no, I'm just trying to get a bag. It's not that simple. It's not that simple. And anytime when they are openly talking about investments to the public, it's not for your benefit. For the first time in history, you really have more money in brokerages than you do banks, and the banks can't even lend at scale because all the consumers are putting the money into brokerages to buy assets. It messes up lending. So,
All the gold. Yeah, somebody said, what about gold? The GLD definitely is a good ETF. And then, yeah, physical gold, if you want to go to Ghana and do that play. I think that's the next thing I'm going to invest in is physical gold.
physical. You going to Costco or you going to Ghana?
Ghana.
Okay, send me a text.
Gotta go to the
Both.
source.
To the source.
Gotta go to the source. Getting it straight out the mud, literally.
With Shaka bars.
Yeah.
We're going to get the bauxite with the gold in there.
I'm gonna call my guys actually. I'm gonna see how much gold is going for out there. Probably can get it for a discount.
Who's calling my phone? Yeah.
The Ghana gold play. You know that's where it comes from. That's the gold. The Gold Coast. That's
Gold Coast for a reason.
The Gold Coast for a reason.
Yeah, not just Ghana though.
No.
Yeah.
But Ghana's heavy though.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been to Guinea. I mean, yeah.
We done seen it.
But he said Ghana got way more gold than Guinea.
It's true. Honest too.
Burkina Faso.
Yep.
Gold is God's money. That's what they say. It's been proven. Over 8,000 years, probably longer than that, gold has been used as currency. It's outlived every form of currency ever, and it's still here. Over the past 100 years, the U.S. dollar has gone down 98%. During that same time, gold is up 6,000%. So,
and we should have never came off the gold standard, but that's another conversation for another day.
You know that. But yeah, gold has been around since Mansa Musa. Can't stop it.
And for all of you who ask me privately, yo, should I short gold? No.
No.
You have to stop shorting assets that are meant to go up permanently. That's the Dow, that's the NASDAQ, that's the S&P 500, that's gold, that's Bitcoin. You don't short assets that are designed and created to stay up for long periods of time. It's not worth it.
Yeah. I mean, it's part of it. Like and when you start to see those headlines and that sensationalism, all the short sellers trying to predict the S&P, just stay focused. Stick to your plan, please.
Stay locked in. And you don't know their agenda. They may have a short-only fund, and they may be pushing to get 9% return, and the headline makes you think the market is going to drop 25%. The market is rigged to permanently stay up. That's all the indexes. Stay long. Stay long. Japanese Nikkei um, hit an all-time high. Like, you're not supposed to short these assets. There's trillions of dollars going into them every year to make sure that they stay afloat. Your 100 grand or 300,000 is not going to move that market down.
I told you, I told the story. They said that Ashanti King, they bought a Rolls Royce for a brick of gold 10 years ago.
That's what we got.
Couldn't speak English. Came in the Rolls Royce dealership with a bar of gold. Like, cashed out.
That's what we got.
Take it.
That's what we got.
The real currency.
You know what I mean?
They're going to find a way to accept it.
Take it or leave it.
Yeah,
They're
for
gonna
sure.
find a way to accept it. 6,100 people on the check-in.
Yeah.
Hey.
Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all.
Yeah.
Shout out to y'all.
Salute to Nas, too, on that hip-hop pioneer joint that they do every year. They just did it a couple days ago.
The Hip Hop Museum?
No, they gave $1 million. They give $500,000 to two people.
Oh, who got the award this year?
Uh,
I'll look it up.
yeah, they gave it. It was 2 days. It was 2 days ago.
It's amazing, though.
Shout out to Nas.
Yeah, shout out to him. I mean,
Ben Horowitz, and the whole team.
yeah, shout out to them. And shout out to the Massacre. Yo, they put that Mobb Deep album is
It
solid.
was tough, yo.
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I was just like, as a fan of music, let me just go check it out. Shout out to them.
And it's good to
Speaking of-
Prodigy's voice, too.
Yeah, salute Prodigy, man. Speaking of Mass Appeal, check out our series on Hulu.
Yes.
Foundation Forward in collaboration with
Oh.
Mass Appeal and Chase Freedom. Hulu streaming now. Let's talk about tech. Let's go on the tech hour. Apple. Let's start with Apple.
Mhm.
Apple stock hit all-time highs today. Legendary.
Mhm.
Yeah, got what, 262?
264.
260.
Yeah,
think
it's
it's
438.
Yeah.
Close at 262.
So Apple, you know, it survived every era. It's
Mhm.
still here. They said the iPhone sales are booming.
Mhm.
They got the AirPod.
Passport Bro Edition cooking.
Yeah. You know what I mean? And folks first now. They signed a deal with F1,
Yep.
5-year deal with them, which was if you watch the movements, right? F1 the movie was their first, well, one of their biggest movies in terms of blockbuster hits
Yeah.
with Brad Pitt, and so it kind of makes sense that they
It's a
put
great
them
movie,
before.
too. Yeah.
They actually, so I finally, I hadn't turned on my Vision Pro for a while, but that you can actually sit inside the F1 car in your Vision Pro now. And so you can kind of see how they were trying to build this up.